Hello, people of the world watching car-related internet videos. Welcome to this. My 1974 RA21 Toyota Celica ST with a 4-cam Toyota Tundra V8 under the hood. If you are new here and you'd like to get caught up on the progression of this project, up above my head is either conveniently a link to the last video where I worked on it, or also it could be a homemade recipe to make fish shampoo out of your old socks. This right here is the headlight trim. It's made out of actual metal, stainless I believe. And take note, the inside bezel is gunmetal, as was all of the factory trim on the front of the car. Thus my decision for going with a set of gunmetal Watanabes. I felt it was important to retain the original colors that this car was painted in when it was brand new. However, I was a less than intelligent particular individual and negated to paint these when I painted the grille. Also, don't worry about the pink stuff, it's a secret sauce. And you'll probably learn about it next year. It's actually cleaned up pretty good. Whoa, that's sick. It has the little, check this out. It's got the old Toyota logo on the back. That's neat. I mean, as it should. It's a part on a Toyota vehicle. I don't know, I get amazed by the dumbest things. A little bit of wax and grease remover, make sure these are spotless. It looks like this was just hand masked from the factory when it was sprayed. I have to mask this exactly on the factory line. Shit. Man, the factory tape line is even that nice. Well, I gotta improve upon it. These were in such good shape that they don't need to be re-chromed, just refreshed. You know what I don't have though? Is a paint booth, so I gotta use the Nature's paint booth. But wait, there's more. That's gonna be an absolute nightmare to try to, how the f do I even do that? I don't know. I don't think I can do this. Fast and good quality. Pick one. Yeah, right. I was supposed to do this how many times? 16, but there's 2 sides, plus the ends. 32, that's 64. That would take hours. I know without a shadow of a doubt, someone is gonna have a smart solution to this in the comments, and it's gonna be too late because you're watching the video. But that's all right, I'll do whatever my brain capacity has the capabilities of. And these right here are the ingredients for today's beautification menu. Like I said in the last video, everything I'm shooting out of a rattle can, I'm doing with a 2K activated paint, with the exception of the oil pan, which will be done in engine enamel, so it's solvent resistant, and the side blades, which will be done in trim black, so it has an OE finish. You could argue that I don't technically need to paint the inside of an oil pan since it is going to be bathed in oil, but you could argue that if that was the case, then when they manufactured this, they would have just left it bare metal on the inside anyway. So to make sure everything sticks, laying down a thin coat of primer and then following it up some black engine enamel. And then for the fun part, activating the 2K paint. Thankfully today there was just enough wind out here so that way I'm not painting the inside of my nostrils, but not too much wind where I'm painting ants to the side of tree trunks and entombing them in a black gooey mess for the rest of eternity until time runs out. I ended up doing 3 coats of the 2K black, with the second and third coats being medium wet, and then 2 coats of the trim black on the side blade panels. All right, these have flashed off, but it's still wet, so I need to work fast. It's the exact same process I did to the front grille on the car. And I don't have super confidence I can pull this off because this is so many slats, but I'm gonna use a soft 400 grit pad. It's the only grit pad I have left. I lost them in the move. And break through that fresh paint. While this only took 10 or 15 seconds on a YouTube video, this process consumed 3.5 hours of my time until I was finally satisfied with the end result. I mean, just from a close glance, you would say, man, that looks YouTube good. But at a certain angle, it looks like crap. You can see the intricacies to each one of these little ridges where there is a thin lip that I need to sand all the way up to get the overspray so it looks clean. This right here is the best example of what it actually takes to do a quote-unquote car build that no one ever shows on YouTube. Spending 3.5 hours sanding something that people will just assume you did in 5 minutes. I want the the headlight surrounds to be nice and durable, especially for acidic bugs. So I'm gonna use a 2K satin clear to match the grill. Holy shit, that's hard to squish. Mission complete. Parts are restored and painted. That was an absolute pain to get all the edges nice and evenly sanded, but it's done. Welcome to the following day. I get to peel tape on fresh paint. There's nothing more satisfying than that. Yup, that is good. Look at that. That came out mint. As much as I'd love to put the headlight trim on, there's no point right now because that's not that important. What is important is the mechanical bits. To be fair, it's all important because the car is not done until it's all done. Now this guy is gonna be, I still gotta bleed the clutch, so maybe I shouldn't put this on yet. If I put the plate up on here, it'll make accessing the bleed screw difficult. The whole point of this is to protect it. I don't know where half my stuff is. All of this junk has to make its way into these bins, most of which are empty. Ah, I found it. A pair of blue nuts. I don't know why else I would have these. Well, I got a blue nut in my belly button. Yeah, I think that will actually work good once it's all tightened down. It doesn't look like it's gonna touch anywhere. Now this is not something this car had from the factory down here, but then again, this also didn't have a 4-cam V8 from the factory, so there's that. This area right here above the exhaust is where your feet are in the passenger footwell. And while my DMs would say otherwise, no one wants to smell hot feet in the summertime. Anyone that's ever bought this heat protective stuff before knows you damn near gotta take a mortgage out to afford it. So I'm gonna make it out of cardboard first. That's gonna be an issue. Use my tin schnips so I don't destroy my scissors. Test fit. Yep, I think that'll work. Use a little bit of wax and grease remover just to make sure there's no schmoo on there so it sticks. I still have the 2 aluminum heat shield panels that are gonna go up by the header area. Silver Sharpie. However, I'm not installing those until I finish up the clutch line and make sure I have some heat wrap over the 2 fuel lines. You could argue that I could just wrap the headers or ceramic coat them, but the way these headers fit together with the individual collectors, ceramic coating is not the greatest idea, and wrapping them makes them look like shit. Especially when you have welds on that thing that literally look like a robot from another dimension did them. That I want to show off. Now I gotta trim the bottom. Sticky. I was a little bit nervous about applying this stuff because it looks like it might be able to retain moisture, but then again, I'm also applying this directly on top of an activated bed liner that moisture is not going to get through. There. There's help keep the floor cool right there. Put the snake in its thermal sleeping blanket. My jokes are stupid. Oh yeah, this is a tad bit too long. Actually, that's a perfect length. What am I talking about? That'll be perfect. I could even put a little bracket right here to hold it to the side of the bell housing. It'd be super fancy. That'll do just perfectly. I'm not a super fan of the black finish on here because if you're not careful, it will crinkle off, but then again, you can just spot it back in. It's literally just probably spray paint. There, now the underside of the footwell won't get hot. A conundrum. This is not the oil filter I'm gonna use on the car, but it has the break-in oil in it, as does this hose, and break-in oil is expensive. This is a bag of OEM genuine Toyota hardware. So, I don't even know if it'll fit this giant oil filter. Slight design flaw, because the hardware sticks out off the back of the bracket and it's so close to the frame rail, that I either have to use a beveled type of bolt, which I can't because I don't have a thick enough bracket, or I need to run a spacer to push this whole thing out just a hair. This hardware has the slimmest profile head that I could get that would fit this thread size, and I think it'll clear. And I'm gonna make a mess. Sweet. Hello and welcome to the following day. I got some hardware to complete yesterday's mission, and yep, this is gonna suck. All right. Jeez. this stuff, so. Oil is out. I'm gonna reuse that oil, so I'm gonna keep it in this bag. Just in case you weren't up to speed with what was going on here, the difficulty I ran into was trying to get a front anti-sway bar to work with an engine from a Toyota Tundra, an oil pan from a Lexus LS400, a chassis which is a 74 Celica. Well, it's a pretty good RTV, that's for sure. And the suspension, which is from a AE86 Toyota Corolla. Geez, that's a really strong RTV. The solution was custom fabrication, which took place 2 videos ago. Wow, that was a seal. Do I have it? I do still have it. Phenolic gasket scraper. This device that sounds like it's a musical instrument and could be played as such by a talented robot, none of which what I just said made any sense whatsoever, is used to scrape gasket surfaces without destroying them, since it's not made out of metal. Wow, this is gonna suck. Everything I have left to do on this car is so time consuming. That's why it seems like it's taking forever. None of this is a fast task, especially when you're doing it by yourself. And because nobody enjoys an oil leak, let alone a leaky oil pan, the last thing I want to do is skimp out on doing this properly and have little bits of residue or even little defects in the metal. Sure, this is nice and prepped. Here goes nothing. Before I reseal the oil pan back up, which hopefully will be the final time I have to do this. Oh no, I got my hair in it. Because this stuff is extremely powerful and not easy to remove. Gotta go quick, this stuff sets up in 1 minute. It's probably been longer than 1 minute, so maybe that's a bit of an embellishment. I don't play around, I just follow the instructions. Alright, 69 inch-pounds is the torque. Nothing. Okay. Something tells me I already achieved it. Nope. If there's one place I can't emphasize enough to actually use your torque specs and a torque wrench, it's doing these type of oil pan gaskets, because if you just use Gutentite, it's going to leak. I don't want to scratch up this oil pan, so I gotta be careful. I don't know if I can do this with only 2 hands. This is a 2-person job and I don't have a 2-person. I guess I just gotta like sit it on my head. Oh, are you serious? Okay. Well, it clears the oil pan now. That's only one part of the puzzle, but that part of the puzzle's done. You can see there's room right here for it to move around some. The height, however, will be determined by the mount block that I have to make to put that in its home, since the bolt spacing is going to be slightly different, and also because I have the block to adapt the Hashiroku subframe to the TA-RA chassis. Alright, this should clear. This will live right here. Third and final mounting location for the oil filter housing. This is the best way I can show you. You're looking through where the bumper mounts to the front of the vehicle, and that is the bottom of the oil filter. So you can see it attaches to the bumper bracket. And looking up from the bottom of the car, disregard the spaghetti mess of wires that I haven't loomed it yet, you're looking up at the oil filter right there. I said I was gonna do this, but now I get to reward myself for doing a sucky job with a less sucky job. Feels good making this thing actually look more like a car. Well, all of the lines I made for the oil cooler are pretty much pointless now because I moved its location. So that's okay. Not really. Did I put nutserts in the backside? No, I did not, because I'm not smart. I gotta come up with some kind of solution so that I don't crack my fiberglass. Damn it. I mean, I guess I could go through that hole right there, but the other side doesn't have one like that. And the spots are on the top, so there's enough clearance next to the bumper bracket where I can run the line directly up to the oil filter, but there's gonna be some hard angles. Might be easier maybe at the hard line. The passenger side super conveniently has 2 holes right here that are the exact perfect diameter for this line. I'd have to put a grommet, but that, do a number like that onto the top of it. It's the following day, and I had Angel run and do some errands for me today. I asked for a funnel, and he got me this thing that looks like something you use on the side of the interstate when you don't have a porta potty and you ate too much gas station burritos. Oh jeez!
Oh yeah.
R.I.P. Milwaukee. Still works?
I just fixed the Milwaukee.
Man, those things are tough. I'm trying to not die today. Oh, for limb 3, save me with your witchcraft. I don't know. It's hot up here.
We're on three-way.
What? I was on the ladder getting loose when Angel caught a Milwaukee in his bubble goose. Done. I'm getting pretty close to the point where I need to do a cut and buff on the Celica, and in order to do that, this side has to be functional. But just when you thought I didn't have enough, I got more. Wait, that sentence didn't make sense. Let's do this without getting electrocuted. Angel, some people are gonna wonder what's going on with the Wedo Caneto situation. Do you aspire to be a member of the Backstreet Boys?
Yeah, my dream is to somehow start a boy band.
Okay. I don't know the story of what happened, but apparently Angel is trying to dye his hair gray.
You see, my hair was already turning gray, so the goal was let's just go all gray. Instead, I'm ginger.
It bothers me that this looks like this. I just moved in here and I can't have it already a mess, because then it looks unprofessional on camera, and I already do that enough just by existing. Hey, it's not a giant mess anymore over here and an embarrassment to have in the background on camera. I know the vast majority of you watching don't mind if there's a bit of a mess in the background, but I feel that reflects on the quality of your workmanship on the stuff you're building. It's like, how can you trust that the quality of work being done on the vehicle is going to be worth a damn if you can't take the time to make sure your shop is neat and organized? My goal for the next Celica video is to finish up the electrical so this thing is turnkey ready to start. I'm going to take a bit of a breather from filming car views after I knock this one out, so I can just make some solid progress on the Celica and hopefully get this thing drivable. And then I'll bring the Z over here so I can get that thing underway, because I know a lot of you have been wondering where it's at. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you soon with another video. Bye. You gotta say it in Spanish.
Mueve el cuerpo. Yeah, yeah.